Welcome, everybody. I would like to call this regular meeting of council to order on January the 16th, 2024 at 7:02 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. On behalf of council and myself, I want to wish staff and council a healthy and prosperous new year. The mild weather we experienced over the holiday was unusual. However, it did provide for better travel conditions than what we experienced last year. Hopefully, everybody had some time to relax and enjoy their time with family and friends. During the month of December, I attended 10 meetings for municipal and/or county business. On Thursday, January the 14th. Sorry, that should be December the 14th. I met with MPP John Yakubuski regarding the additional requirements by the Ministry of Environment for approval to move into cells 9 and 10 at the Ottawa Valley Waste Recovery Center. The OVWRC manager has submitted the information regarding the additional requirements and timelines to MPP Yakubuski and will keep him current on the progress. I also discussed the status of the request submitted to the Ontario Northland Bus Company for pickup in Eganville and Douglas. MPP Yakubuski suggested sending another letter to the bus company and to CC a copy to him. During the holiday season, Renfrew County experienced an increase in the number of COVID, RSV, and influenza cases similar to most regions in the province. The Renfrew County District Health Unit is encouraging residents to take advantage of the available vaccines, mask in public settings, and practice regular hand washing. Councillor Robinson and I will be attending the Roma Conference in Toronto from January the 20th to January 23rd, 2024. The theme of this year's conference is Closer to Home. The Roma Board has continued its policy and advocacy development on ensuring rural communities have access to services closer to home. So I have a motion that the January 16th, 2024 mayor's address be accepted as presented, moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Burns. Councillor Burns? Yeah. Councillor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Richardson?
Yes.
I'm a yes. It's carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, then we move to the adoption of the minutes. And I have a motion that the December 19th, 2023 regular council meetings be accepted as presented. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckwald. Any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns?
Yes.
Councillor Buckwald?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Richardson?
Yes.
I'm a yes, that's very good. And that brings us to delegations, and we're pleased tonight to have with us Jim McBain, and he's going to talk to us about property standards and the service that he provides to other municipalities and that could be provided to our municipality as well. Thank you, McBain.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Thanks for having me here tonight. It's a pleasure. It's taken a couple of weeks. I know we've been postponed once or twice, once for weather. And I think I had another conflict initially, but yeah, I'm very pleased to be here. Just a quick overview on what's happened in the past several months. I think several months ago, I got an email from your clerk, Michelle, and asking if I would be interested, or MLS, my company, Municipal Law Enforcement Services, would be interested in providing some bylaw services to the township of North Algona Wilberforce. I jumped at the chance, to be honest with you. I've created a business model for smaller communities. We've grown over the past, I've been doing this business now, bylaw enforcement, for 20 years. It's amazing how fast the time has gone. I began in 2022, and the company has just grown. We started with 1 or 2 municipalities on a part-time as needed basis, which is probably what we're going to be talking about. And it's grown to, I have 13, 14 municipalities. There are others besides yourself that are looking at us assisting them with their bylaw needs. There's no pressure here. We provide a service that is second to none. I've developed this business model that has been agreed to and accepted throughout the province, mostly in southwestern Ontario. There's no other company that does it as we do it in eastern Ontario, moving into the Toronto area. I like to look at it as a cooperative designed to provide smaller municipalities that would not be able to normally afford a bylaw department with full bylaw services at a fraction of their cost. Why? Because we do it in a cooperative. The smaller communities get together, which allows me to put a team together. We've been doing this for a long time. We know the bylaw business, and we can provide you with a service that will take care of any of your bylaw needs whatsoever. My history before bylaw, in my other life, was 30 years in policing. My first 15 was major crime in the city of Gloucester, if you know where that was, amalgamated with Ottawa. I was a major crime investigator. From there, I was asked to take over the police chief's job in Renfrew, which I did for 15 years. And I organized and oversaw all major investigations, which is why I decided to stay in Renfrew. I wanted to be an operational police chief. I wanted to be participatory, and I'm still that way today. I run the show. I have a team in this area. When I say this area, we're so widespread. We have 14 municipalities between Smith Falls and Laurentian Valley, and we have a north and a south. So we have basically 2 teams. The northern team, the western team, which is this team here, consists of about 10 officers. It's a family business. That's how it got started many years ago. I created this business model to provide my wife and I with a job after retirement from policing. And we didn't go out looking. As in your case, people came to us and said, we would like you to do our bylaw. And we welcomed it because it just added to the cooperative effort, and everybody got to benefit. The more participants we have in it, the better service we can provide, the more staff we have. You will, if you sign with us or agree to have a relationship. We don't need a contract. I don't need a contract. You don't want me, we're gone. Okay, but if you want bylaw enforcement, I'm here for you. And we will do whatever you need to be done, whether it be zoning, property standards, noise, site plan agreement, anything. In my 22 years, I've learned this business to the extent that many people consider to me be an expert. I don't, because I'm learning every day. But with 22 years of bylaw with 13 municipalities, you do the math. Well, what is that when you look at the service? I've experienced many things for many municipalities. I do things other than bylaw. I negotiate agreements with property owners, dealing with municipal properties. I've done that several times. And that's what I do. I like to spread myself out. I like to learn. I like to experience more things. The bottom line is I have a team of excellent officers that will provide the basic front line, right to the full investigation, no matter what it is. So that's the overview of basically MLS. We've been around for 22 years. We've got a lot of experience. We know what we're doing. My job, as I see my job and my company's job, is to protect the municipality, to provide you with a service which is second to none. You don't get in trouble. You do things the right way. And I solve your problems with respect to bylaw enforcement, no matter what it is. So that's the overview. Michelle, do you want to flip the first one?
The presentation?
Yeah, well, we'll start with that one. Yeah, that's fine. So this is something I just put together today. I knew we were having a meeting and I didn't know how it was going to go or how interested you were, or how much time I had. So when you feel I've you've had enough of me, just let me know, and that'll be the end of that. But certainly, this is for you folks, our management team consists of myself, my wife, Darla McBain, she's our general manager. Darla has worked with me since the beginning. In addition, we both managed our own companies, private investigation and security when I first retired from policing. I lived and managed a security company in Florida, and be what it may, I looked after security of all the biker bars in Daytona Beach. So that's where I got into the security business. When I came back to Canada in 2004, 2002, I guess was the first year, I started up my own company and we got into private investigation security. And Darla was with me as part of that. In 2006, we had to make a decision. We were starting to get more and more business in the bylaw enforcement. We decided to let the security and investigation business go. So by 2010, we were out of that and bylaw was full-time. And our daughter, Allison, my stepdaughter, Darla's daughter, I never had any children of my own, is our operations manager. That is the face of the company in the future. I'm 76 years old. I'll never quit working, but we have a lifespan, right? I don't know what it is, but certainly the company has a legacy and it has a service and we have the depth and we have a succession planning. Allison is the face of the company moving forward. I hope she would be here tonight. Unfortunately, she's speaking somewhere else. But she's a bit of a go-getter like myself. We don't know when to quit. We don't know how to stop working. The next slide, please. So we can enforce any bylaw that has an enforcement component. So zip right to the bottom, you see any bylaw having an enforcement component. And those are some of the ones: clean yards, fencing, garbage, waste management, open air burning, noise, pool. And I can go on and on. Whatever bylaw where there's a penalty or there's a wrongdoing or you want correction, we can enforce that. We have the experience in that and we know. This is our organization structure. I'm not going to go into much depth now, but you see municipal law enforcement at the top. It's a division. I've got the security business, the ATM business, a bunch of businesses that are involved in that. I got into the ATM business when I was doing security, all the fairs. I did all the fairs and all the beer tents. And I had ATM machines at all of them. We had to let that go as well when we stopped doing security. Then you can see the duties there. You can look at this later if you like. I'm sorry if I'm rushing. I just want to make sure I get everything that I think is important to you. And those are the officers. There are some changes. This hasn't been updated, but we've had a couple of changeovers to the officers that are actually patrolling this area. And there are a couple of new ones. We up staff in the summer when it gets really busy. Our workload triples in the summertime. We gotta run off our feet, literally. But we hire a lot of part-timers, a lot of our staff are law and security graduates. They want to be police officers. It's a great place to hang your hat, because in most cases, they're coming out of college today at 18 to 20 years old. They go to the police forces of various municipalities or OPP. They're told, well, get some life experience. Well, we say, welcome in here. We'll give you some life experience. That is very close to what you're going to be doing. I run this company, just like I ran the police force. When I came to Renfrew, it was just like stepping back in time when I was with Gloucester. I joined Gloucester in 72 and watched it grow from, I was number 26 when I got hired. When I left, it was 150. And I was in major crime. So you can see the development there. So when I went to Renfrew, it was like stepping back in time 20 years and then started all over and redid that force. I take the same mentality when I come here. Next one, Michelle. Now, in a perfect world, and if you were willing to have MLES look after all your bylaw requirements, no matter what they are, it doesn't matter how many calls we get, whatever you get, we can handle, and we're willing to and want to. This is what we would suggest. The complaint process is a three-way process. There's a telephone complaint line, email, town hall. So we get our complaints either from our telephone line. You would be part of an emergent bylaw enforcement number that you share with other municipalities. So your local residents would call this number. They would get a voice recording and they would leave their basic information. We would call them back, get the details entered into our records management system. Or they could do it by email, or we get complaints from the town hall. Your citizens would sometimes call the town hall for a complaint, and the town hall would pass it on by email, phone, or whatever. And then it works its way down the line. Okay, the next one is, I understand that you had some questions about Residential Tenancy Act versus your own property standards bylaw. Am I correct in that belief? Okay, so I know nothing about the Residency Tenancy Act, so I had to research it for this meeting. Okay, but I do remember attending, and I think about 2006, 2008, a training session that all my officers attended, as well as most of your CDOs and others, when the Residency Tenancy Act came into effect. And at that point, it was made very clear to all of us that the best option for municipalities is to establish your own property standards bylaw. Otherwise, it gets turned over to the minute or to the province to investigate. And you can see this, just keep it there for a second. Section 24(1). The prescribed maintenance standards apply to residential complexes and residential rental units located in, and A doesn't apply, but B, to a municipality where there's no property standards bylaw. So if you have a property standards bylaw, presumably you would have your own enforcement mechanism. Some places use their CBO, some places use a fire chief, some places hire people like us. So you have better control. The complaint doesn't go to the province, who would then send an investigator down, do an investigation, and you're gonna pay the bill after. Okay, so by establishing your own property standards bylaw, and that's, whether you hire us or not, doesn't matter. I'm still suggesting you establish your own bylaw. You're one of the very few places that don't have a property standards bylaw, regardless of how you're going to enforce it. Okay, so that's what I'm suggesting. That's why I drafted the bylaw. Whether you hire us or not, doesn't matter. There's your template for your property standards bylaw. And that's been developed over time. I've been developing bylaws for 22 years. And every year, it's like a work in motion. Nothing is final. They're always developing. We're always learning new stuff because of case law and where do we encounter a problem here? How has the law changed? How have the courts found our positions with respect to charging and enforcement? So things change. So these bylaws, they're good for about 8 or 9 years. Then you better start looking at them again. So this bylaw is one of the most recent ones I've done. And that's what I would recommend for you. Now, depending if you hire somebody else, they may give you a different bylaw, but it's gonna be close to that. Okay, so, okay, just move down. And that's just another explanation on how there's cost of inspection. The ministry may charge, I guess they may not charge you. I don't know when the provincial government hasn't charged anybody for anything that they do. But nonetheless, it is an option, but I certainly, as a possible client, I'm recommending to you that you should have a property standards bylaw and that you enforce it somehow locally rather than sending it to the. Next slide, Michelle. Which brings us to your draft. Okay, so it's lengthy, I know, but everything's in there that you could possibly need or want to cover yourself. When I say cover yourself, I mean protect yourself. The municipality collectively, council collectively, and council individually. So that's what I'm suggesting to you. So if you've had a chance to look at it, I'm not going to go into it now. You can look at it, and if you have any questions, I'll certainly come back and answer other questions. But along with the property standards bylaw, I think back in 2016, I developed what's called the Clean Yards bylaw. In many municipalities, about 80% of the property standards complaints deal with the exterior property maintenance issues. Length of grass, derelict vehicles outside the home. Property standards deal with everything. If you look at the bylaw, you'll see it deals with plumbing, heating, electrical, egresses. It deals with everything inside and outside, which is why sometimes it's a CBO that deals with the investigation. A lot of CBOs do not enjoy doing bylaw. It's a difficult job. In many cases, you're dealing with people in conflict. They hate seeing us come. We usually, when we pull into a driveway, all our cars are marked. We pull into a driveway, the lights go out, the doors get locked, and people hide. But that's normal. But when you look at what we do, we're in enforcement. And it's never pleasant to see someone coming to tell you you're doing something wrong. But we try to work with people. The key is to work with people. Get voluntary compliance. That's what we want to do. We don't want to charge people. We want to solve the problem. Okay, so And I'm at loggerheads right now with the court system, I don't mind telling you, and the court system is not the answer. First of all, nothing gets solved, it takes 2 to 4 years to get a decision. People are wasting their money on fines, and the problem is not really getting solved in a timely fashion. So we work with the people to achieve voluntary compliance. If it takes longer, if it takes more talking, if it means giving them some more time, as long as there's positive progression down the road, I'm okay with that. And most of the CAOs that I look for, or the fire chiefs or whatever, they all agree that nobody wants to rush into court. There are times when we have to go. And I'm finding myself now spending more time in civil court, which seems to get a better response. We have squatters on vacant land. We have people keeping trailers on vacant lands. Going through the POA system, that's the Provincial Offences Act, and charging people is not the answer. The answer is go and get it writ, go into civil court, get an injunction, and we move in and they get out. So when push comes to shove, we're going to win the game. There is no losing in this. Next. So as part of the clean yards, sorry, I got distracted there. The clean yards is an augment that deals with very specific areas of the property standards. The other thing is the property standards bylaw is authorized under the Building Code Act, section 15.2. And the whole process is outlined in the Building Code Act. And as a consequence, we have to give somebody 2 weeks to appeal my order or the order issue. Other people are drafting orders now. I supervise every one of them, but I have other people that are drafting them. They send it to me for approval and off they go. In order to comply is basically, I meant to bring one for you, but I never got a chance. I'm kind of busy this afternoon. We get a property standards complaint. Let's just make it simple. A property owner has 8 or 9 derelict vehicles on his property, and they're all over the place. The neighbor now has to sell his house, and his real estate agent saying, your house is losing $20,000-$30,000 because of that property next door. So now all of a sudden it becomes an emergency. So we go down and do an inspection. If there's a violation, the complaint becomes us. So we don't complaint becomes ours. I don't need the property owner who complained. Everything is secret. Everything is confidential. And I will issue an order saying you've got X amount of days or what, I'll pay a visit, confirm the violation. That was my complaint. Contact the property owner. How long is it going to take you to get rid of those 10 to 15 vehicles in this case? And you try to negotiate the time frame for compliance. And that's how it works. So voluntary compliance, moving down the road. The clean yards bylaw is different. It's dealing more with cutting grass. The situations where someone has left a freezer by the side of the road and it's a health and safety issue. Someone could get caught up in that freezer, get locked in it and die. So you don't want to wait 2 weeks for the appeal before you can take action. So many of the outstanding, the emergency type, more urgent issues are dealt with in clean yards. There's no appeal period. But there's an order and there's a notice. The notice, short turnaround. I'm suggesting 48 hours for the notice to council. You have to approve the bylaw. I give you 48 hours to get that freezer off your lawn or off your roadway. And if you don't do it, we're going to do it. The bill's going to go on your taxes. Both the property standards bylaw and the clean yards bylaw. The ultimate recourse is we're going to fix it. If the property owner doesn't fix the problem and comply with the requirements, then the municipality has the authority under the various acts, Municipal Act and the Building Code Act, to correct the deficiency and put the bill on the taxes. And that's what we do. That's what we do most of the time. And if we try to locate a contractor, we get three prices. We work with people, get the best deal I can. Most cases, it's a case of money. They don't have money. People don't have money to go to the dump sometimes. The problem is, how are we going to solve that problem? The problem is still there. What do we do about it? Well, my recommendation and my suggestion, and I try to do this with council, with the approval of the CAOs as well. Can it be put on their tax base? Now, most of the things are $300 to $500. Very seldom do we go much larger than $1,000. I have demolished homes to that extent where the town has actually said, okay, take it down, $10,000, $15,000 on the tax bill. Then they get it out of the tax sales of the property. Everything is fixable. It's a matter of knowing how to do it and how to do it right. It's a lot to digest, folks. I don't know if you want me to go on or you want me to quit. I'm getting. I can talk about it all night, to be honest with you. I think the point I'm trying to make is whatever your problem is, I can solve it for you. And I know how to do it without getting either one of us in trouble.
So like, you don't like actively look for bylaw issues, it's somebody reports.
That's right.
So it's not like your cars are cruising around.
Oh, no. I mean, there's proactive and reactive bylaw. Proactive is, like parking, they want it to go through proactive parking enforcement, proactive animal control. Okay, we don't go looking for profit, it's complaint driven.
Mhm.
Usually, you're gonna find, and this is through my experience. If you hire bylaw or someone's doing active bylaw, or if you have any sort of reasonable bylaw enforcement, your citizens are gonna catch on. I had a new township I just took over in the south, very far south, 150 kilometers from here. Didn't have any active bylaw for forever. And once the municipality, the residents found out that there was bylaw enforcement and it was being successful and cleaning places up, we got busy. And that's where I spend most of my time these days. And that's right down just outside of Smith Falls. And once your citizens find out that there is somebody who's willing to take on a challenge such as cleaning up the guy next door. And of course, everything is confidential, but it's complaint by zoning, property standards, clean yards. Some places want us to proactively do clean yards, like you drive around looking for those things at the side of the road that are upsetting everybody, but nobody's doing any action because we're waiting for a complaint. There's a lot of reasons why people don't complain. Their neighbors, they don't want to be viewed as a bad neighbor. They're intimidated, they're afraid. And when it comes to property standards, intimidation plays a big role. And our officers are not intimidated.
So, at the first chart where you talked about then a call could be made, how long before you respond to that call? Like,
Well, usually within 24 hours.
okay,
That's any call. We do prioritize our calls. And in the summer, we're busy. Okay, so what I imagine for North Algona is, it won't be full-time. It'll be as required. But you're gonna have full-time bylaw. So a complaint would come in by one of the three methods. It would be channeled to our dispatcher. We would do the research. We would find out what the violation, and we'd be responding to that as soon as possible. Probably what we do is what we do with most of the places up that are far away, is we try to get 2 or 3 calls, so we're not wasting your money or our time. And so we pick a day, and we have enough people that on Thursday we go to Whitewater, Laurentian Valley. Okay, on Tuesdays we go to Beckwith, Smith Falls. Well, Beckwith, Smith Falls is actually Montague. And so we do it that way, unless it's a real emergency, then we'll go right away.
so you would tell the person, like they called on Monday, you'd call them back, let's say on Tuesday and say, well, probably be at your place on Friday, because that's when we're in the area.
No, we wouldn't say that. No, we need a bit more flexible.
Okay,
We would call them back within 24
right,
and say, we'll be there, and we'll try to make an appointment.
okay,
And we'll try to suggest dates that are convenient to us,
mhm,
which are convenient to you.
right, yeah, they would have those, something to go by, and then,
Yeah.
can I just give you an example, like, what would you
Absolutely.
do with a dog complaint?
A document. Okay.
Let's just say that I've got a dog and it's barking all the time and Doug does not like that, and so he calls you. Okay, and you come and you tell me something and I totally ignore you. It just escalates. Tell me,
Or you once or twice, and then you're going to charge.
but that's kind of, and what if, like, and what if, like, you must have it though, I'm thinking with dogs where it's like they get charged and I just pay the money and it just continues.
Well, and that's the problem, okay? So here's what I do. We like to issue 2, especially if we're new in the area and we don't have a history.
Mhm.
If we have no history, okay, so this has been Doug has been bothering you for years, but now you've had enough. So you're calling bylaw. So, but we have no history. We just got hired.
Right.
Okay, so we go down, we give Doug a warning.
Mhm.
We'll give Doug 2 warnings. 3 warnings will probably be a charge for Doug, and we'll issue 3 charges. At the 4th charge, Doug is going to court because instead of laying a part 1 under the POA, he's gonna get charged with a part 3, which means I'm going down to square information, I'm gonna get a summons, drop it on him, and he's gonna have to attend court and explain to the judge why he can't control his dog, and why he hasn't paid his previous fines, and why he's before the judge. I speak very candidly, very openly. I think you have a right to know. Because for years I thought, I'm gonna look after your problems, various municipalities. It didn't work in my favor, because the more I kept from you people, the more you didn't know what I did. Okay, I'm solving all your problems, you don't hear about it. So now I'm making more people aware, because they say, what do you do? They think we run around writing, chasing dogs and writing parking tickets. No, most of our stuff is property standards, zoning, site plan agreements and everything else. We also do the other stuff, but that's the low level, minor stuff that the frontline officers do. But I've also got a team of senior officers that look after the big, what I call the big stuff. We're going to court, okay? And I've been to civil court, I represent, I don't call a lawyer in unless we absolutely need a lawyer. And I make recommendations. I'm working with 2 or 3 lawyers, three different firms right now on civil matters dealing with these property issues where we have illegal tent and trailer camps and squatters on private property and all that stuff. I mean, that's the part that I love. That's where but I started at the underground. And so, and we have a team that's very confident at doing and we do that, what you're talking about, every day.
And it would be the same with noise, I'm thinking, some people like, just noisy, neighbors, right? And it would be the
Yeah.
same thing, you'd warn them, and then you'd come and.
And and that is the frustrating part, not only for you as a complainant, but for us as an enforcement agency. And that's why I say the answer is not the courts,
Mhm.
okay, because their hands are tied. You're writing this down? Okay, so the reason I'm saying is because we issue tickets, some people don't even pay them. You know, there's no recourse. They put it into collection. Okay, your driver's license is tied in. Municipalities should be complaining to the provincial government. Anybody with an outstanding provincial offense is fine, such as including bylaw. They should have their driver's license suspended until they pay for it. Because they're not, these people know how to work the system. It's just like policing. The problem is 10% of the population and they're repeat offenders. We see the same people the cops see, only we're not armed anymore. Okay, so, but it's a matter how, and I know this, so we developed we call it our enforcement strategy. You asked me how we do it? 2 warnings max. There could be a third if it's illegit. Okay, the dog died, the kid opened the door, dog died out. Okay, that's possible. And we're not so callous that we're not gonna believe us hard much. Okay, the idea is not to penalize people, the idea is to change behavior. Solve the problem so it doesn't happen again. My whole career, my whole life has been that. In policing, the same way, but this is how we do it, and we have to have a structure though, for most of the officers on the street. You got 2 warnings, third one's a charge, you got 2 charges, then it's a part 3. Now, that takes some work, because probably most of your bylaws don't have part 1 offenses. Well, I take care of that, with cooperation with your clerk and her staff, and now we do it all. It's a matter of what you want us to do, because whatever you want us to do, we can do it. Well, no matter how small, I don't care how small. I don't care if you want us 5 hours a week. You're gonna end up with full-time bylaw, okay, to your residents, and they're gonna be grateful, because there's a lot of people out there, based on my experience, that probably are sitting around waiting for something to happen.
Do you find when you go into a new municipality, being new to it, you get a whole bunch of and then later on it just kind of filters itself out, because people will know if I cross the line, bylaw's gonna come out.
We're never out of business, okay, so in the past year, I don't think there's nothing secret about this. We started in Bonnechere Valley. We started taking more responsibility in Mississippi Mills, which is very large. It surrounds Carlton Place, and that's Almont, Clayton, all those places down there. And most of, a lot of them are a combination of rural and urban, which is great, because we get to see both sides of it, right? And that's why the bylaw is the subject property standard is designed that way.
Mhm,
It's broken down into urban and rural.
mhm.
I think I did it that way anyway. Can you correct me if I'm wrong on that?
Well, there was some rural, examples,
and I think
and some urban examples.
Yeah, because I might be getting confused with another one up the line I'm looking at, which is actually, there's a big center in there that is rural, but there's also a cluster of residential. So to answer your question, I don't know, because in the past year, and all I can remember, I can barely remember yesterday, let alone 5 years ago. But in the past year, we've taken over 3. And as people know we're there, they use us. And they start to, I call they begin to right wrongs, stuff. In many cases, the municipalities haven't had anywhere to people to do it. Nobody was willing to or couldn't do or didn't have the resources. Here you have an opportunity to jump on this wagon train and do it at a and just give us what you want. We'll do it. Whatever the level is. Even if you want it full time, and I'm not saying you don't, I'm saying we can do it. Or we can just provide you with the basic full-time response to a part-time body.
And do you then, like, once a month, do you submit a report to the various
Yeah,
municipalities?
most places that don't have a records management system, we submit a monthly report. That's one of Darla's tasks as part of the administration section. Do you have a records management system?
I do.
No?
Well, we have that service tracker, but that
That's
is.
the director, but that's internal.
Well, we can look at that. I mean, if we're talking down the road, I mean, certainly we can look at that and see if that, because most of the small ones, we just provide them with, it's very statistical. It identifies, the number of calls, the type of calls, and, how it was addressed and and the status,
Okay,
okay, and whether or not charges were made.
right.
Yeah, so you get a statistical report.
Mhm.
That's the best we can do if you don't have a records management. Some places are on Access 11, some places are on CGIS LIMS.
Mhm.
More and more places are up this way are going to Access 11. I don't know if that's appropriate for you. You might be a bit on the small side for that. I don't know.
Mhm.
But we do, to answer the question, here I go again. To answer the question, yeah, we submit monthly reports, or if you're really slow and quiet, quarterly. Yeah, and we can bill quarterly too.
Okay, I do.
Any other council questions? And see, now, thank you very much, Mrs. Bain, for an excellent presentation and lots of detail and lots of examples and,
I hope you don't mind, I have a tendency to run off. I'm passionate about it.
That's good.
No other questions?
I don't see any more, and I know it's something that we have to consider during our budget deliberations, so thank you once again for attending.
So you want to go?
If we do have anything, staff can certainly get in touch with you.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for tolerating me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Safe travel.
So I have a motion that the MLEF presentation by Mr. McBain be accepted as information. Moved by Councilor Ricky Schultz, seconded by Councilor Burns.
Yes.
Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Schultz.
Yes.
Yes, Harry, thank you. Thanks, 7.1 is the bulk waste voucher program. I have a motion that council directs staff to implement a large item disposal program at the Ottawa Valley Waste Recovery Center. And further, the program will be offered for 1 week in May, from May 18th to the 25th, 2024. And 1 week in September 21st to the 28th, 2024. And that the program become an annual event on the 3rd week of May and September until directed differently by council. Moved by Councilor Red's-Chantel, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Questions or comments?
Just a couple. So we issue 2 vouchers, right? 2 coupons?
One.
Okay, because it kind of, and so here's my thought. a long time ago, when we had it at the various transfer sites, people could bring their stuff in twice, right? So I'm not sure why we can't have two coupons, so that one, they could bring it in the spring and they could bring it in the fall, something like we had before. And I'm just wondering if you had any statistics about how many coupons were actually submitted at the waste recovery. And when you say the $51,000, that's tipping in general, it's not just those 2 times, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't know, like, I'd like this to see to have 2 coupons. I don't think it would be that much more, and we did provide, free before when we had it at our transfer site.
And yes, go ahead.
When it was provided at the transfer sites, they were 2 different dates. One at one transfer site and one at another. They were never at the same time.
I know, but I
So
would,
it's still only the 2 dates.
right, but I could still take my stuff there if I wanted to go to Burnt or if I wanted to go to, yeah.
Right.
But now we just, anyway,
But now you have a full week,
yeah,
2 full weeks.
but I was just looking for 2 coupons for the 2 full weeks. Like, I could use 1 coupon in the fall and 1 coupon in the spring. And just as like anecdotal information, when I do go, because I let the sheep in and out, and I never really see it being totally like full. I don't think it gets as full now as maybe when it was 1 month or one time at Burnt Road and one.
Councilor Robinson.
Is it possible to, on the same coupon, to be able to separate it? For example, if it's almost cut in half, you take it, they're both based on the same coupon.
But I think you can, right? I'm looking for 2 separate coupons. Are you looking for just 1 coupon?
Well, if you have one coupon and you just basically, you just cut it, you take it there and you have the other one.
Oh, so you use the same coupon twice. Oh, yeah.
So it has two,
Yeah.
basically it's one coupon with 2 dates.
Right, and you could still use the coupon for 2 different dates.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
And as far as tracking the use of the coupons, do we get any sort of a number from the center?
Yes, they send them back in an envelope, but they're not counted, so we have to do that, and they did plan on doing that and got busy today, won't get it done. But we can count them.
Councilor Buckle?
Any kind of ballpark number, like was the envelope this thick or like, like was it a bribe envelope or was it just a letter envelope?
It's just, yeah,
It's well used.
it seems to be favorable, yeah.
Councilor Ricky?
Could we defer it until we actually get it? I can't.
That's the council.
And then just like, I would like to see 2 vouchers, but we can find out how much they need.
Council in agreement to defer?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
First deferred. Item 7.2 is the budget update, and I have motion that council accepts the budget update report as presented. Moved by Councilor Burke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments or questions? Councilor Ricky?
Just for the 30th, we will get that information prior to that, so we can look over the different figures and stuff.
The council will, so you will receive data in a package as normal. So it's just a matter of if all the council can look at their schedules to see if January 30th is open.
And it would be at 7?
Yes.
It's good for me.
Good for me.
Good for me. Good for me.
And I'm okay as well.
Mhm.
And then February 13th also is a special meeting.
I'm checking out. and see.
I'm okay with that one too. February 13th. That's also at 7.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm good.
I might be late, but I can be here for it.
And the first one will be held at the voting day call, so.
13th of June. Not that.
I'll just have to cancel it. So it's the library. They're also.
But I'll figure.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councilor Byrd? Yes. Councilor Buckles?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Buckles?
Yes,
Yes. Carried. Item 7.3 is the human resources, and I have a motion that council approves the proposed human resource policy manual, and that the policy be shared with staff for acknowledgement and use. Moved by Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Questions, comments? Councilor Rankin Schoenfeld.
so did the various department heads look at it when you were making it? Yeah, like, I mean, Public Works looked at it, and the fire department, did they look at that at all?
We haven't looked at it earlier, and then he hasn't had the copy, the most recent copy, but we sat down with staff a number of times and went through it and I went with not just the department heads, but the administration staff and.
And how often would you see reviewing the document, like once a year?
I think so. Well, we had talked about it 6 months from now, just because it's new. I mean, it's new and it's not new. It's mainly, putting in policy things that are already happening, just clarifying things.
Okay,
So I would say 6 months from now, and then as the staff report says, I think that there's room for always adding additional, so when we talk to staff, instead of, you could go to the county site and there are hundreds of policies, so we're just suggesting that we start with these, make sure they're implemented and the forms and all the documents that go along with it are being used, and then maybe 6 a year.
so on page 50, I don't know if that's the real page. It talks about procedures to the update all team members. It was just, sometimes you said team members, and then managers. And I'm thinking, like, do we have to change our titles? Like, because we have a superintendent of public works, or how does that?
So in the very front page, or one of the front pages of the actual document, it spells out that, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe the term manager is there, and it indicates that if it's someone who has a direct report within their job description, that is the use of managers, and then team members would be non-managing people.
Okay, I didn't see those definitions, but maybe I just missed them. Did you see them? Anyway, that's okay. If they're there, I just found
I
it.
think it's the page after the code of conduct,
Okay,
so I'll open
yeah, I'll check that out. And so, okay, so I just, if it's okay, I'll just go through some of the things.
it. Yeah.
So the probationary of 3 months, so should there be something if they're part-time versus full-time, or does that not really matter?
Yeah, that's a good one. We talked about that kind of ongoing because the Employee Standards Act,
Says 3 months?
says 3 months, but, really the probationary policy is to give managers the ability to have a conversation with people and say, we need to talk about improving things, or we need to talk about things that aren't going right. So it's essentially a policy that's driving managers to make sure that they're having those conversations with people in the beginning.
So they could have them with the part-time, even though it wasn't 3 months, they could have it in month number 1, is what you're saying?
I would hope so.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think it's really setting the tone that if you have someone who's starting out and they're not working out in month one, you should be having these conversations before, it's not a magic number that on June 3rd is there 3 months and we should talk then, you should be having that conversation
all the time. So then I just had another question on the uniform and safety clothing allowance, right? So it was $650 full-time, that makes sense to me, and that would be like, so before, I think, did we provide jackets?
We have in the past, yes.
But now they get their own jackets, is that right?
So the full-time every year would have an allotment of 650, and they expended, the department head would spend it as he saw fit.
So the department head would spend it for the part-time member? Or would the part-time member themselves actually spend it on themselves?
The way we had considered it would be that the department head would look after the, purchase of the, safety equipment, yeah.
Including the boots?
Including this, yeah.
Okay, all right. And so here's my, okay, so that clarifies that, because at first it kind of looked like this person would just get it, but okay, maybe clarification there.
Okay.
I don't know, someone, you know what I'm trying to say is that okay, then, okay, so the part-time staff, they get 650 every second year. But should they maybe just get 325 once a year? Here's my question, because like maybe you don't have a part-time staff for 2 years. I don't know, that's just a thought.
The reason, if I may, the reason we did it that way is, because we could also give 325 to somebody that just started, and we won't have it the next year, right?
That's kind of why I looked at it.
You'd be wasting the 325 kind of.
Yeah, but,
So the second year, they would have a full complement, and they can have, their booster jacket and whatever. And if we've got 2 seasons out of them, or.
okay, maybe I put a little asterisk there and just explain that.
If I can just jump in for clarity, so they wouldn't get it until the completion of the second year?
If they were hired the second year, they can get it right immediately.
For the first year, they wouldn't get anything though?
No.
So they wouldn't get boots or anything?
So for the first year, they'd be responsible for purchasing all their own
Yeah.
PPE and equipment.
Yeah, because typically you have a 3-month probationary period anyway, and they would almost be finished their term in winter if they were hired as part-time for winter staff, right?
But they still have to apply each year for
That's right.
that position, okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, and then, okay, this one says page 75, and I just want to know if this is similar to what it always was. It's overtime, number 10. Employees are eligible for time off in lieu of overtime pay, brackets, bank time, to a maximum of 80 hours per calendar year. Is that like what we normally have?
So this is, if I may, Mayor, this is one that we have changed, and the staff have been eager to extend the complement to 80 hours. It's 40 hours right now. And then they're paid out. So in hindsight, they're getting the money anyway, it's just that they would get their lump sum of 40 hours paid out at the end of the year. So anything over and above 40 hours, they would get paid out up to 80, and then the 40 hours that you carry over to the next year.
So that's like kind of slightly different than we have.
It's a little bit different than we have, yeah. So, from what I experienced in my short time being here, that they've already been being paid out. It seems to be, everybody has that mindset that it's going all to taxes. Even though at the end of the year, when you do your taxes, you do get money's back, but in their mind, they think that it's all going to tax. And a large portion typically does, about 50% of it, so. This way, they kind of get a lump sum at the end of the year, just at Christmas time or notification bills maybe. And it's everybody's happy.
Okay, and number 12, it says all overtime must be discussed and agreed upon by the employee supervisor prior to being worked. So I can see like the office staff, that would be, but like, so it's kind of a given if they get called out at 3 a.m., they're gonna have overtime.
Sure.
Okay, and so it still is, if they get called out at 3, they put in their hours work, and then they still work till the end of the day?
This is another one that we've, the
76.
so we have discussed this, what page is it on?
76.
I don't know my numbers on some page.
I just know some municipalities are, if you go in early, you can take your 8 hours, you go home. Unless
So this is what we have submitted now, so it wasn't like that.
yeah,
It isn't like that right now, so typically if I brought them in at 3 o'clock in the morning, they were hovering around here till 3:30, which would have been their 7 to 3:30 shift.
yeah,
The way we have worded it gives my
kind of discretion.
discretion to say, once you have finished your routes, your vehicle maintenance and then wash your truck, or if anything's broken, then you may be sent home.
Yeah,
Because I mean, if you completed your 8 hours, completed your 8 hours, and then the routes, like Saturday was a good example, they had to do two runs, which
yeah.
is 13 hours, but that's very minimal.
yeah,
Most of the time, you're definitely getting your 5.5 to 6 hours, you're cleaning your truck, 8 hours, and you're good to go, right?
right, okay, I was just wondering, okay, and then in 16, so it looks like now we'll never have to argue this point again. Office reception area will be closed to the public on Wednesday, starting the first week of July, holiday and fiscal August. Because that always came up, so now we're just saying that. That's there. Okay, and Remembrance Day, so we're going to acknowledge Remembrance Day no matter what. So like this year, the landfill transfer sites were open, so now for Remembrance Day, ever happens on a Saturday again, they'll be closed.
That's what it was.
And, oh, what? Okay, I think I got it. Okay, yeah, I found that part now. It was on page 86 that we were talking about compensation for standby pay. Okay, all right, that's it for me.
Any other counselor type questions?
Okay, I lied. On page 92, it's, service award programs, right? So I'm assuming that would also go for part-time people. Like I'm thinking of Mr. Griffith that always does the summer roads. He's been here for a number of years, right? So he would get that, right? It's part-time and full-time, right? As long as they've had continuous work.
If you approve it that way, yes, I would say we should treat all staff
The
the
same.
same when it comes to years of service.
Because I was thinking of him and also the landfill attendants. There's been a couple of them that have that. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that covered both of those groups of people. Now for sure.
I only had one question, and again, it's in regards to the probationary period. Has the employment standards changed so that it's, most places it is only 3 months? Because a lot of places used to be, especially for full-time, 6 months.
Yeah, I think that was the discrepancy, right? Place and for, businesses had 6 months, but the Employee Standards Act says 3. So I think that the policy didn't match the standard. But I still believe that we should have conversations with people before that communication.
Yeah, I've just always been familiar with the 6 months, so that was a change that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
I think most organizations were giving that 6 months, but the act was always.
And you can't go more than what the act suggests, correct?
Well, I think if you had a conversation at 3 months, then you could choose to put
You
someone on.
could stand for it as 3 months.
So it's just making sure that, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a 2-month, or it's a 2-week agreement between the employer and the employee, and if you want to end that, you can. It's just a matter of making sure that you're telling the person that they're not meeting the standards of the job, so that you have that documentation.
I think I would just like the policy to make that clear that, you have 3 months, but if your performance isn't up to standard, that it could be extended for another 3 months.
Okay, we can do that. We'll note it in the policy, but there's also a package of procedures that come with these policies that are at the staff level. So for things like, this is an example, or the food allowance, there's a procedure that managers will follow. So they'll include that as well, which will include, the documentation for having a conversation with someone if their performance isn't where it should be.
Thank you. Councilor Robinson.
The concern that I have in putting it in this is that it could be perceived as a bias. If you indicate that they could be possibly 6 months and you don't give someone the 6 months option, then it can be seen as a bias. Because it should be just 3 months. And then it is the manager's discretion to extend it. It sounds
So
like-
I was thinking that we would just put a clause in that says that a manager could, you would put them on a performance plan, right? If you had a meeting at 3 months and you weren't sure that they were, meeting the expectation of the job, then you would create a performance plan, so we can just indicate that there will be a meeting at 3 months and the decision, so then it kind of takes it away from probation and makes it that performance plan program. So you're either gonna decide you could work with this person and get them to the place that they need to be to do the job, or you're gonna terminate them at 3 months because there's so much of a disconnect that it's not gonna.
But there would be a warning, sort of say like at the 2 month
Yeah,
mark.
I think that you probably know in the first couple of weeks, right? Those are conversations that you're having kind of the whole time when you're on board.
Yeah, because the concern that I have is that there's a perceived bias if you do an extension of 3 months without warning.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And I also think it's just really important to be proactive when you know an employee is struggling and you don't think it's gonna work out, you don't wait till the last minute. It's just something like, Mr. McBean said, like you're working with the person, you know, you don't want to like lay down the big hammer, right? You want that person to have the chance to change, or the chance to conform. I would say.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
I think you've covered it, and like you say, if you have a process, whether there's a review, and then it's up to the manager, and as long as it doesn't wait till the last day of the 33 months, then
We can change that. We can have.
Okay, thanks.
thank you. Any other comments? I'm seeing none, so I'll vote. Council Burke? Yeah. Council Buckwell?
Yes.
Council Robinson?
Yes.
Council Ricky Twonko?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Item number 7.4 is the conference list, and I motion that council approves the 2024 council and staff conference attendance list, and maybe we can bring up the list and populate it.
Staff has put our suggestions or recommendations in on the last column. So for the ANCTO conference, which is held in June, we're suggesting or recommending that one staff member would attend that conference. We're also suggesting that one staff member would attend the Ontario East Municipal Conference held in September. And that, treasury staff member would attend the Finance Officers Association Conference, which is held in September. OGRA, so Ontario Good Roads Association, this would be recommendation that Public Works Superintendent would attend that conference. That'd be held in April. And the CDO, so the Chief Building Official, normally attends the Ontario Building Officials Association conference held in September also.
So the rest would be up to council, which ones they would be interested in attending.
And normally 2 members of council attend Ontario East and 2 members usually attend on the AMO conference also.
The only one that's missing is Rona.
That's right.
Because it's already been done for the year, so
But it should be on the
Yeah, it
list.
should be on the list even for next.
for next year, that's.
Comments, questions? Seeing or hearing none, so I'll call the, I need to move on the seconder. Moved by Council Burke, seconded by Council Robinson. Council Burke? Yeah. Council Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Ricky Schultz,
Yes.
and yes, it's carried and carried. Item 7.5 is the Vulture Cup Experience Ontario. I have a motion the council accepts the Vulture Cup Experience Ontario report as presented. And further, the council approves supporting the Vulture Cup Inc. application to the Experience Ontario grant for the 2025 Vulture Cup snowmobile races. Should that be 2024?
No,
2025, okay, I'm sorry, my mistake. In collaboration with Vulture Valley Township, the Figure Skating Club, the Hockey Club, and the event sponsors. And further, the council considers lending staff support to Vulture Cup activities in 2025. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckles. Comments, questions? Councillor Schultz.
What does the lending of staff look like?
Yes, go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, so it could involve, acting as a coordinator, help collaborating, community organizations, to work with the Vulture Cup Inc., group to help organize the event, or, current or minor hockey or those types of organizations, just getting those involved with, helping and volunteering at races.
Do you know what staff member would be doing that?
So it would be the special project coordinator.
Any other comments, questions? So this is a grant that's in process or hasn't been submitted already?
It has been submitted, yes.
Seeing no other questions, Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Buckles,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Ricky Schultz.
Yes.
I mean, it's very, thank you. Item 8.1 is the Public Works reports, and I have a motion the council accepts the Public Works monthly report, December 2023, as information. Moved by Councillor Buckles, seconded by Councillor Burns. Comments or questions? Councillor Robinson.
I'm just going to comment. It's good to see.
And yeah, it is nice to see, and I think it was good for staff to have the Christmas holiday where they were called out every day as well.
That's the first time in 12 years.
Really?
Yeah, that I,
Wow. It was very well.
it was, yes, it was a green Christmas. Yeah.
Adrian, on Saturday morning, when you guys are doing the sidewalks in Golden Lake,
Yes,
were they pushing the snow across the highway?
no, we weren't. We didn't, the sidewalks were done, early at 3 in the morning. So they
But
were,
some of the residents said they push it across the road, the highway.
our staff was not pushing.
Oh, I didn't know, so that's why.
Yeah,
I had two of them come up to me, guys, snowplow in Golden Lake,
yeah,
and two of them said the truck pushed it across the road. I wasn't out at 3 in the morning when they started.
yeah, our trucks, our large trucks aren't there.
But he said he did it with the half tons.
So the highway would be.
Highway 60.
Yeah, the highway would be, you have to take the berm away, because if we don't take the berm away with the big truck, the road truck always pushes back on the sidewalk. So at 3 in the morning, he would have been taking the snow, and then they pick it up and they put it on into the post offices.
No, they told me they push it across the road. I got stopped by two residents on the.
I don't know what the location you're talking about, but I know
Well, from the drugstore up to where Doug Packard lives.
they would push it up to Douglas place, yes.
But they weren't pushing it across the highway.
No, they never go across the.
No, they can't, see,
They never go across the provincial highway, but they will take that berm and they push half up towards the old hotel. And then they push half down to the post office.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the only time we can really do it, is 3 in the morning.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's crazy,
Mhm.
but, yeah, no, we wouldn't have been pushing across the provincial highway.
No, that's what I figured.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Council Burt. Yes. Council Buckle,
Yes.
Council Robinson,
Yes.
Council Reddy-Shalfo.
Yes,
And yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 9.1 are the non-action information items. So I have a motion the council accepts correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.2 as information. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burt. Councilor Reddy-Shalfo.
could somewhere on our website, we talk about the agricultural and the boat wrap not being recycled anymore? Just in case some people, I know it says not too many people are, but just
We will provide that information on the Ottawa Valley Waste Program Center, they're gonna approve the fee for it, so once that information is shared with us, we'll do that also.
okay, that's perfect. And I wonder, do we know where that letter was sent for the position recruitment and retention for Barry's Bay and area? Was it sent, I know it was sent to us, to North Algona. Do you know what other municipalities might have gotten it? I kind of tried to figure that out, but I couldn't.
It's got listed in the,
Is it listed at the end?
I believe it was, not Greater Madawaska, but Madawaska Valley,
Yeah.
KHR, South Algonquin, and ourselves.
Okay, so they're basically the people that were on the recruitment.
okay, and also, Suburban Elder Doctor, right,
Oh,
and North Hastings, they also shared it with.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Councilor Burt. Yes. Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Reddy-Shalfo,
Yes,
and a yes, carried. Thank you. Item 9.2.1 is Madawaska Valley Health Agencies, and I have a motion that council considers and reviews the options presented by the position recruitment and retention for Barry's Bay and Irene during the 2024 budget deliberations. Mover and seconder, moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckle. Questions?
so we're not committing to it, we're just thinking about it.
We're just doing it during budget deliberations.
So no approval or anything is required, it's just information at this point.
It's information at this point. Any other comments? Councilor Burt? Yes. Councilor Buckle?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Reddy-Shalfo?
Yes,
Yes, very. Item 9.2.2 is in regards to the AMO, and it's a resolution. Whereas the Township of North Algona Wilberforce received correspondence from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. And that the Council of the Township of North Algona Wilberforce support the motion from AMO requesting that the provincial government sit down with municipalities and work together on a social and economic prosperity review. Whereas current provincial municipal fiscal arrangements are undermining Ontario's economic prosperity and quality of life. Whereas nearly a third of municipal spending in Ontario is for services in areas of provincial responsibility and expenditures to are outpacing provincial contributions by nearly $4 billion a year. Whereas municipal revenues such as property taxes do not grow with the economy or inflation. Whereas unprecedented population and housing growth will require significant investments in municipal infrastructure. Whereas municipalities are being asked to take on complex health and social challenges like homelessness, supporting asylum seekers, and addressing the mental health and addictions crisis. Whereas inflation, rising interest rates, and provincial policy decisions are sharply constraining municipal fiscal capacity. Whereas property taxpayers, including people on fixed incomes and small businesses, can't afford to subsidize income redistribution programs for those most in need. Whereas the province can and should invest more in the prosperity of communities. Whereas municipalities and the provincial government have a strong history of collaboration. Therefore, be it resolved that the province of Ontario to commit to undertaking the Association of Municipalities of Ontario a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote the stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario. That was a mouthful. I have a mover and a second, moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Rector Schoenfeld.
No,
Comment or
stand
Seeing none, Councillor Burke,
Yes.
Councillor Buckrow,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Rector Schoenfeld,
Yes.
I'm a yes, and that's carried. 9.2.3, Association of Ontario Road Supervisors.
Oh, that's not, it's not bad.
There's something else.
Oh. Did I jump ahead?
No, sorry, I did. No.
It's another resolution, whereas the Township of North Algona Wilberforce received correspondence from the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors, and that the Council of Township of North Algona Wilberforce supports the motion from AORS requesting the province develop and fund a municipal equipment operator course. Whereas municipal public works departments from across the province of Ontario provide invaluable services to our communities, ensuring the health and safety of all residents. And whereas if it was not for our municipal public works employees from across the province of Ontario maintaining our public road systems, our communities would not be able to function, as emergency personnel could not respond to calls, school buses could not get our children to school, residents would not be able to get to work, school, or appointments, and many more basic functions would not be able to happen. And whereas municipal public works departments are already feeling the impacts of a labor shortage, which will only be exacerbated over the next 3 to 5 years, which will cause levels of service municipalities are able to provide to ensure the health and safety of our residents to decrease. And whereas there is currently no provincial-wide course that properly trains potential municipal public works employees specifically related to municipal heavy equipment. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of North Algona Wilberforce Township supports the work of the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors to develop a municipal equipment operator course to address this issue. And that the Council of North Algona Wilberforce Township calls on the province of Ontario's Ministry of Labour, Training, Immigration, and Skilled Trades to fully fund the municipal equipment operator course in 2024 through the Skills Development Fund. And that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Minister of Labour, Training, Immigration, and Skilled Trades, David Pinsky, North Algona Wilberforce's member of Provincial Parliament, John Yakubuski, and the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors. Moved by Councillor Byrne, seconded by Councillor Buckle. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Byrne,
Yes.
Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Rector Schoenfeld,
Yes.
and a yes, it's carried. Item 9.2.4 is the leader events and campaign advertising. And the Morrison Council directs staff to advertise 12 events costing $480 plus HST and leading the leader sponsor pages throughout the 2024, opting for similar choices as previous years. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckles. Can we bring up the list in case council has any thoughts of changing anything?
Do we know which ones?
I don't know what we did last year.
I know we did the snow goals and Remembrance Day. Can we check them off? Can you check them off? Yes.
Do we know which ones we?
Not circling back.
We could send a copy tomorrow of what you did and then you could, maybe. Would that help?
And the resolution says what we did last year, whether we, as long as we get the results.
If we want to change, that's not a problem, that we could change it.
Yeah.
Or like some guidance.
I think we're probably consistently, we did.
I think we really thought about it last year, so we made really good
Yes.
decisions.
Mhm.
I was thinking Alzheimer's once, but I can't remember.
Which one?
That went today, I think.
Well, and we're too late for this year anyway.
Okay, so that's good, thank goodness. I'm kind of concerned about that.
Okay, so, we'll stick with last year's. I'll call the vote. Council Burns.
Yes.
Council Buckwell.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Council Ricky Shankle.
Yes,
Yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 9.2.5 is the Madawaska Valley Studio Tour, and I have a motion council supports the Madawaska Valley Studio Tour partnership as a single year listing partner at a cost of $160 plus HST. Do I have a mover and a second? Moved by Councilor Ricky Shankle, seconded by Councilor Buckwell. Comments, questions? Councilor Ricky Shankle.
we've never done this in the past, have we?
We have done that one in previous year, yes.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Council Burns,
Yes.
Council Buckwell,
Yes.
Council Robinson,
No.
Council Ricky
No.
Shankle.
This is a major decision for the mayor.
I'm gonna go no. So that's defeated. And now we're at bylaws, and number 10. Now therefore, the council in North Algona Wilberforce enact the following bylaws, bylaw 2024-02, being a bylaw to authorize appointments, and bylaw 2022-03, being a bylaw to authorize the spending of expenditures in the current year prior to the adoption of the operational budget. Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Buckwell. Comments? Seeing none, Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Shankle.
Yes,
Yes, that's carried. Thank you. And item number 11, are there any matters of urgency? Any notice of motion? Reports from committees, we've done upcoming meetings and unfinished business, so the advisory committee council will meet on January 24th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And our next regular council meeting will be February the 6th, 2024, 7 p.m. And we also have the one on January the 30th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And that's draft budget presentation. Thank you. And that brings us to item 15, that council will go into closed session pursuant to section 239, 2B of the Municipal Act regarding one personal matter about an identifiable individual. It's moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Buckwell. And we will go into closed session at 8:79 p.m. Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
That's Ricky Shankle.
yes.
Yes. And that brings us to our confirmatory bylaw, that bylaw 2024-04, be a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for January the 16th, 2024. Be read first and second time, the 16th day of January, 2024. Moved by Councilor Buckwell, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Is read a third time and finally passed the 16th day of January, 2024. Councilor Burns.
Yes.
Councilor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Shankle.
Yes.
Yes. There you go. And item 15 is adjournment that this January 16th, 2024 regular meeting of council adjourns at 8:51 PM. Moved by Council Burns, seconded by Council Bethel. Council Burns.
Yes.
Council Bethel.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Council Ramshaw.
Yes.
I mean, yes. That's carried. Thank you. We are adjourned.